I know the bottling company squeeze and never start to drop you from your saddle. Lock out the sun and I hear the cheers right to still charging.
What's up guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Gavin and we finally have a nice day here in Utah where it's not snowy, it's not cold, and we can take out the E36 and go drive it kind of hard so that I can give you guys my impressions and my thoughts on if the polyurethane subframe bushings and differential bushings that I did were worth it and what kind of goes along with all that stuff. If you guys are interested in the process of all that, what it takes to take everything out and what it takes to put all those bushings in, make sure and go back and watch all that stuff I have in a playlist along with this video. In the last episode, we ended up installing all the bushings and getting all that stuff back in the car, and so today we're finally gonna go for a rip, and I'm really excited to see how this thing handles all that stuff done. I'm gonna take corners really fast, I'm gonna try to drift it a little bit, I'm gonna do some launches, burnouts, and some donuts. And I feel like all that stuff will give me a pretty good impression on how much those polyurethane bushings have changed the car. So let's go. All right guys, as we get going, I wanna mention a few things. First of all, my bushings were really bad. I'm gonna throw in a clip here about how cracked those things were. So, I mean, as you can see, they were pretty terrible. So any difference that I'm gonna see is exaggerated, I'm sure, because my old stock bushings were bad. Had I replaced those old stock rubber bushings with just new rubber bushings, I'm sure I would have seen a difference just doing that. So going from old broken rubber bushings to new polyurethane bushings just is gonna make that much more of a difference. Now we're at the point where we're here to drive. This is gonna be the best part and the most fun part, and I'm really excited to do it, so let's go do some hard driving. Oh yeah. Come out of it fast. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what I noticed with transitions left to right is that this car feels a lot more sharp. I used to feel a lot of sloppiness doing this kind of thing. The back end would feel like it just had some secondary motions going on, but that is all gone and it feels razor sharp. Oh yeah. All right, so the next thing I think we'll do is turn traction control off, and then we'll try some launches and see how those things do. I used to notice that when launching, I got a lot of wheel hop before, and on my 1 to 2 shifts, where if I went over bumps when I was on the throttle, I could feel the back end literally just jostling around because how bad those bushings were. Also, I'm expecting to feel it a lot stiffer between shifts and everything, and just once I get on the throttle to feel quicker, because the differential bushings are now polyurethane, so there's less movement in that front. Oh, that felt good. Okay, so you might have heard the tires just chirp a little bit. They weren't really bouncing. That's just once you're hitting the point when the tires are about to grip, but they're still spinning a little bit. But that wheel hop I had before that was so bad is definitely not there anymore. That's a huge plus. I mean, they were hopping so bad before, it was shaking the heck out of the car, and sometimes these mirrors would even go down. Whew. All right, now let's try to kick the clutch a little bit here and see how that goes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that feels so good. Okay, so what I noticed when I'm doing things like that is I can tell that the rear end is communicating with me a little bit more. It's just a little easier to tell what it's doing, and like I said, the movements left to right and just really any amount of turn in is just accentuated by the stiffness of the polyurethane bushing, so it feels a lot better for that kind of driving for sure. Okay, so we've done some corners, and I'm not done doing those, by the way, and we've done a launch, which I'm probably not done doing those either, but now let's try some throttle response and if I feel like it's quickened that up at all. So what we're gonna do is get in the rev range about 4,000 RPMs when I know we're in a good strong power band, and I'm gonna hit the throttle from there and then bang a shift, and we'll see if it feels like there's less body movement and if the car just feels more responsive doing that. So here we go. Oh yeah, it's immediate. You can really feel like there's, well, before I felt like the rubber gushiness of the bushings was kind of absorbing some of that punch, but now, I mean, it's not totally solid, but it is way better. I can feel that the power transfer and the torque transfer is just much more immediate. Let's do that one more time. Oh yeah. Oh, it feels good. Let's have a go at this one. Oh, that's sharp. Yes. Here's another left-right transition where we're gonna come ripping out of this roundabout I'm in right now. Razor sharp. So these polyurethane bushings with the subframe and the differential are not the first ones that I've ever done. I actually have polyurethane bushings on my motor mounts, on my transmission mounts, on the front lower control arms, and on the rear trailing arms. And I've done all those before this differential and rear subframe. With every single one of those installs, I've been able to tell a little difference and things getting sharper and just feeling better. But I have to say that these subframe and differential bushings combined has made the biggest difference by far. I can tell a huge difference on how the car handles, and it's all definitely positives. Even doing little motions like this, especially, you know, the faster that I go, oh, it feels like it's on rails. So, obviously when you're doing something like this, it can't all be positives and there has to be some negatives. I think what a lot of people wonder about, what they ask about, is the NVH. Is it gonna be a lot louder? Are you going to feel a lot more of the bumps and imperfections in the road? Well, as far as bumps and imperfections go, I already have coilovers on the car that I have set pretty stiff. And with doing the bushings, I don't really notice any increase in stiffness with that. So I don't really think that that's a concern. But as far as noise goes, I have noticed a few things. So, if I do something like this, on and off the gas, I can hear a little bit of gear lash, probably coming from the rear differential, and maybe some of it from the drive shaft, because I know mine has a little bit of looseness in there. But I don't even think you guys are gonna be able to hear that on camera. It is such a small noise. If you're sitting in the car driving, you are gonna be able to hear it a little bit. If you're in the back seat, I think you can hear it a little bit more. Now, as far as differential noise being transferred in through the subframe and into the car, the faster you go, you can hear a little bit of whining coming from the rear diff. So I don't really hear anything or notice anything basically below like 45 or 50 miles an hour. But once you hit that 50 mark and higher, it starts whining just a little louder and louder. Oh yeah. Oh. But it's still definitely not bad. It's not like enough to really get annoying at all. And I did take this on the freeway and go like 80 miles an hour, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But if you're in the back seat, I can see why if you're in here for an hour or so, it might get just a little annoying. But yeah, not a big deal. You know, I'm sure that if you did solid bushings, that noise would be a lot louder, and I have heard cars and felt cars with solid bushings, and this isn't even close to the NVH that you get with those, so don't worry about it. Oh, if you guys can't tell, I'm definitely having a lot of fun. So the awesome thing is, when I did this install, I was really hoping for a lot of things to change and for a lot of things to fix. And it just so happens that everything that I wanted to happen has happened. The car handles better, feels a lot more just buttoned down in general, and it even made the front end feel sharper. I don't know how, but maybe just less movement in the rear made me be able to feel what's happening in the front end more. It just feels a lot more responsive when I'm on the gas, when I give it steering inputs, and the car just communicates with me a lot more, and it also got rid of that nasty wheel hop that I was having. Well, we have a wide open road ahead of us, and there's no traffic, so I think this would be another perfect opportunity to try a launch. I got the window down a little bit so you guys can hear. With all this extra grip I'm getting and all this extra steering response, I'm starting to notice I'm moving a lot more around in my seat than I used to. I believe this might be a good place and a good time to do those donuts I was talking about. Here we go. Oh yeah. It feels great. All right, so let's get out of the car here and have just a little chat. Oh my gosh, it really is a beautiful day out here. I'm so glad I was able to come out here and go for a drive. And you know, whether you have an E36 or not, whether your bushings are bad or not, if you're looking for just a little bit sharper suspension and just that extra bit of steering feel that you don't really have, I would definitely recommend getting that from doing your bushings into polyurethane. So if you absolutely can't handle just a little bit more noise that's not bad at all, then don't do it. But other than that, there's really no downsides that I see to doing all these polyurethane bushings. As long as you do it right with good products and lube everything up, there's no creaking or anything like that when I'm driving around, and there's not that much more NVH coming from the differential and the driveline and the suspension. You know, I also really have to thank RevShift for making some awesome products that were really easy to install and seem to be really great quality. It definitely was a lot of work doing this yourself, and if you have a shop do it, it's not going to be cheap either, but once it's all said and done, it definitely was worth it. So if for some reason you guys think that I have not answered a question that you might have concerning all this stuff, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'll make sure to answer it because I read every single comment that's left on my channel. I want to thank all you guys for watching all the videos that I put out and giving me so much support. I'm very grateful for it. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell next to it so that you guys don't miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's episode and want to show some support to the channel, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh!